Imagine this, you just spent $186 on a date in New York City. Great sushi, decent conversation, and the check arrives. C smiles but doesn't move. You pause. Do you pay? Do you split? Do you ruin the vibe by just asking? We are diving into one of the most controversial questions. Should you pay on the first date? Because in 2025, it's not just a gesture. It's an investment. Today, I will break down the average cost of a date in New York City and the US, the psychology behind paying, two real stories with completely different ending, and finally, what you should actually do. This video is very different than other personal finance videos that I make, but it's all about personal finance, and that is why I thought about it, and I think this topic should be discussed. So hold on. Let's dive into it. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do hit the subscribe button. It will take 1 second, and like this video for YouTube algorithm. According to 2024 data from LendingTree, the average cost of date in New York City is $162. That includes drinks, dinner, Uber, and maybe dessert. And if we talk about nationwide, it's around $91. So there is a huge disparity between New York City dating and other places dating. It's a huge disparity in the cost. But here is the kicker. 50% of men say they always pay for the first date, and only 9% of women say that they expect to split the bill on first date. Now here is another stat. 65% of men says who pays actually decides the next date, while 43% of women says that men not trying to pay full bill are a red flag. This is not just about money. It's about expectations, culture, and modern power dynamics. Let's meet Jason. He's 31, works in finance, and earns quite decently, around $150,000. He meets Erica on Hinge. She's a creative director. Their first date, a sushi omakase in Midtown New York City, $185 pre-tip. Now Jason says, I didn't even blink, I just paid, while she smiled and said thanks. But I never heard from her again, says Jason. Jason was confused. Was it conversation? The check? Turns out she told later on her friends that he tried too hard. That kind of dinner, first date, red flag. Feels performative. Now here is how Jason thinks. Jason thinks that the sushi costed him $186, and then he had to pay more for Uber and tips, and the total bill came out to be $256. Jason said it hurts more than the money. I wasn't trying to show off. I was just being respectful. Now let's hold this story for a second and think about another story. I know you're thinking a lot, but let's stop this story for a second. Meet Maya and Jordan. She's 29, work in tech. He's a freelancer and part-time musician. They met on Bumble. First date, coffee, $12 total. Maya said, I offered to split. He insisted he would get this one. It was casual, low stakes. I liked that. We ended up walking for hours. 2 years later, they are still together. She said the real win was how intentional he was. No performative luxury, no need to impress, just curiosity and conversation. So here is the financial breakdown. Coffee costed $12 and walk in the park was free. So total cost was just $12. Now here, let's discuss a little bit about the cultural class versus psychology. There is no one-size-fits-all answer because this is not about money. It's about culture, expectations, and gender psychology. 71% of women prefer men to pay on the first date, but 53% also says that they are comfortable splitting. Now 62% of men says that not being allowed to pay seems emasculating, and 48% of women says that insisting to pay can feel controlling. Now where the people should go to date? I'm confused. I'm really confused by this data. But hold on, I'm going to discuss further. Welcome to the modern dating, where traditions collide with independence, where who pays is not just financial, it's emotional. Every act in dating is loaded with emotional values and unspoken meanings. It's not about who pays, it's about who leads, who initiates, who sets the tone. According to the Match.com data, average monthly spending by men in New York City is $550, while US average is around $300. 1 in 3 men says that they have gone into credit card debt because of just dating. Yep, that's the date night could be why you were unable to build an emergency fund. This is not about being stingy. It's about being strategic. Don't perform wealth, build it. If you are going broke trying to be generous on dates, that's not romance. That's financial sabotage. So here are 5 rules that you should know before you go on next date. So here are they. Rule number 1, set the tone, not the cost. A thoughtful plan beats expensive chaos. Even if you do the smallest thing on earth, but you have planned it well, you have set the tone to be positive and to be happy and doing something together, that can really go a long way as compared to somewhere where you go to an expensive restaurant and just spend money and you think money will bring everything to you. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. And I know that this will not work for everyone, but this is how ambiguous dating is. All we can do is to set the right tone so that we don't have unreal expectations and we don't feel dumb. So being thoughtful can be a wonderful blessing in disguise, where you understand other person's taste. Even if it is a small walk, if other person like to go out on a walk, that can be a great date idea. Or going to farmer's market. So think about it. If you both like something to do together, for example, going on a walk after a dinner, then you both can walk together, and that can also be a beautiful moment for both of you. And that's where you set the tone, not the cost. Cost is secondary. The first is your intention, your conversation, your curiosity. These 3 things will definitely go the long way. Rule 2, pay if you initiated, but don't expect ROI, return on investment. If you asked for a date, you pay, but it's not a down payment on affection. Don't expect that money that you spend on someone, it will come back or it will act as an investment. It still comes with the market risk. Like an investment, don't expect any return of affection for yourself, because in real world, you are going to meet a stranger, and if you choose to go on a very expensive place, it's your choice. You should pay. At the same time, if you both come together and plan something, then you can expect something else, whether you want to split or not. But this is the take. Don't expect anything. This is first date. Rule 3, be clear on your budget early on. If $250 dinner is not sustainable, don't pretend they are. Don't agree to something that you are not ready for. It's about knowing another person and at the same time finding someone who can potentially become your girlfriend and wife and later on your future partner. So set the expectation early on, whether it's budget or something else. And if someone asks you to take them to a very fancy place but you are not ready to spend that money, then be clear about it, because going there and spending that money, you will start expecting things. Rule 4, connection first, impression later. You are not interviewing for a modeling agency. You are looking for alignment. So make it as simple as you can. If you put on a complete different personality and later on you will come out to be a completely different person, that is not going to work in the long run. So come with honesty and who you are rather than who you want to be. And that's the main thought. I can tell you, for example, a guy borrowed very fancy car from his friend and left his own car while got all the flashy things and go on a first date. That will be considered pretentious. It will not be considered the honest date. And the same goes for girls. Preparing yourself with an outlook completely different from who you are will not help you in the real dating. So keep this connection as the first tool to build a relationship rather than impression. And rule 5, don't date to perform, date to learn. Every date is a feedback. Use it to get smarter, not poorer. And if you keep spending money too much, then you will not have capacity to think of dating and you will feel a lot of pressure on yourself. So, after hearing this 5 rule, what are your thoughts? Should you pay on the first date? Here is the truth. If you are asking this question, you're already ahead of many people. You already care more than most. The answer is not yes or no. It is, can you afford to date the way you are dating today? Are you dating to connect or to perform? Are your expectations aligned with the reality? Be honest and tell me in the comment section below. I would be very curious to learn more about your experiences and your dating, and I would love to read what are your thoughts about it. So now that we have discussed about expectations and advice and questions that you should ask before you go on a date, what are your thoughts in story 1 or story 2? whom you can relate to more. I would love to know from you. And this is a bonus tip, what I would personally do. As being honest on this channel, I have always been, so I will tell you what I will do. But this is not an advice, this is open-ended. So please go ahead and write anything you want to give me feedback for this story, but this is my story. So now I am a married man. I have always paid on the first date 100%, and in fact throughout dating I have paid majority of time by myself. But the reality is I also as a man expect my date to show some respect and also offer, even though I want to take care, but I also see the intentionality. I only get along with date who also offered me to buy either dessert or give tip amount or just offer to pay, but I stopped them of course. But it really feels like a responsible person would definitely offer you. You are investing in someone else and the other person is also invested in you. That's my feeling. So if I go on a date and the other person don't offer at all and just smile, I think that's a red flag for me. But let me know in the comments below. I always think that guys should pay on the first date, and at the same time I also expect girl to show some courtesy of offering for dessert or tip or something else, but it's up to you guys. With that, I conclude this video, and I hope you will ask these questions that I discussed today from yourself and decide for yourself if you should pay on the first date or not. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts, and I'll be very curious to learn about it. Thank you so much for watching this video.